Hello and welcome. This is the CineBeards. I am your host, Jason Musicanth. With me, as always, are Dion van Heerden.
Hi.
And Marcus Kneef.
Episode 12.
Yeah. Oh. And this time, Marcus has once again curated the news for us.
Purely because Jason was lazy and Dion was working on actual work things.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that
exactly.
is literally 100%.
We did not
correct.
just spend the last 2 days totally unmoving on my couch playing the Fractured Butthole.
Yeah, that's
That's
totally
not a thing that
what
happened.
So what happened?
Was working really hard.
Tough. It was tough work.
It was difficult.
Alright, so I'm gonna kick us off here. And obviously we are going to talk about that trailer.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But I think I will kick us off with a little thing here that I found very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, James Franco, we know, is directing The Disaster Artist, based on Greg Sestero's book about the making of The Room.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He reshot 25 minutes of The Room for the movie.
Wow.
Like, scene for scene.
Like, scene for scene, he literally remade 25 minutes of The Room for use in the movie.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's commitment right
Yeah.
there.
That's commitment. Like,
And it also sounds like something that's probably just really a lot of fun. just a lot of fun to do.
and then one another funny thing that came out of that as I was reading the article, as we know, or as you may have heard, Tommy Wiseau said he is 99.9% behind this project.
Yes, I remember
Yeah,
this.
and then when
Yeah.
James Franco asked him, so what's that 0.01%? Wiseau apparently said, the lighting in some scenes, maybe. That's just so Wiseau. And then they went back and actually looked at the lighting of the room and tried to get closer to the room's lighting for the scenes.
Wow.
Instead of lighting it, well.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So yeah, The Disaster Artist is also getting quite a bit of Oscar buzz.
Oh, really?
For Franco as
should think
director,
so.
and also for writing and acting. Actually, it's getting quite a bit of buzz.
What role does Seth Rogen play in it?
The director.
The director.
I was
the-
facetious.
No. He plays
I
the
was being
cinematographer.
facetious there.
Oh.
I legitimately did not know that Seth Rogen was in this.
Oh,
And I
really?
was trying to make a joke
Haven't
that
you seen
Franco
the,
put Seth
haven't
Rogen
you seen
in
the
everything.
trailer?
Like barely. I've
Oh.
seen a few clips of the trailer, but I haven't watched the actual trailer.
You
Oh,
should
okay,
you
no,
should watch
no.
the trailer. Seth
I
Rogen.
was being facetious there because Seth Rogen is to Franco what Kevin James is to Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
effectively. But no, he plays the cinematographer of the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So that was a thing. Good job, Jason.
Good job.
You now know Seth Rogen is in a James Franco film. How does that make you feel?
And people say we're not informative.
Exactly.
Speaking of James Franco, though, second news story that came out recently, he has been attached to an X-Men franchise for Fox, doing Multiple Man.
Also, apparently going to be X-rated. I mean, R-rated, not X-rated. It's not gonna be, well, I
No,
can't
it's
think of
a-
a better
Man.
character than Multiple Man, but
like,
it's
sir-
R-rated.
It's
Sir-
not going to be a DMX album, no. It's going to be R-rated.
Sir, I'd like to just pitch this idea for a superhero franchise. It's based on a character called Multiple Man. It's like, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear.
I'm in.
James Franco, 6 penises.
Yeah.
Multiple Man. X-rated, get it made.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Multiple Man is not really a well-known character within X-Men canon, so I'm sure there's listeners out there that don't know.
He did show up in Last Stand, didn't he?
Jason, nobody watched Lost Stand.
There's no such thing.
No, people did watch Last Stand.
No,
and
no,
then
they
they
didn't.
no,
knocked
they
it out.
didn't.
No, there's no.
nobody
I don't know
watched
what
it.
you're talking about.
It never happened, bitch.
I remember X2 came out, and then it was First Class.
Yeah.
Are you
But
talking
there
about,
wa-
was it some
there
kind
was
of
a- there
holiday
was a-
special you're
I was
referring
about to say, guys, if we just ignore our mistakes, we can never learn from them. But I realized the double standard of how many times I've just glossed over and ignored things like that.
So, Multiple Man then is
Yeah.
basically he can create copies of himself.
With a name like that,
Yeah, that's
what are the
that's-
odds that his mom called him that? And then it turns out that's what he does.
Yeah, that's his power. He does a clap, and then he splits into several of himself.
Wait, so do I have to edit it here now?
Yeah, no, all of Marcus's explanation is just gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, cool. So he can make multiple of himself, so several James Francos.
several James Francos, just James Francoing it up.
All right. Are the different versions of himself identical, or is each one unique? Is one like a geeky outcast, and the other one's like a badass? And is it like an
Is
orphan
it a
black
ragtag
situation?
bunch of heroes where all the heroes are the same person?
Yeah, and they're all played by James Franco, because I'd be down for that.
It's less orphan black. In terms of copies, it's more like the clumps where you think they're different, but they're all Eddie Murphy.
You're not selling this to me, Marcus.
Look, I'm not saying it's going to be a good movie. I'm saying it's likely to be another interesting project for Fox with their standalone X-Men films.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope they do the whole giving directors a little more free reign thing that that's been
working for them.
working for them outside of the main
Yeah.
timeline films.
Also, it's going to push superhero movies into a new genre, whatever that means these days.
Yeah, I mean, the superhero films is such a broad term.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. They're not a genre.
No.
No.
It's a thing I made up. That sentence.
Yeah.
It's not you, Jason. I made that up.
Asshole.
You're hearing it for the first time.
All right.
Blowing me, a real genius came up with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me. Just right now, immediately.
So, I'm actually going to theme this. Sticking with Fox
Yeah?
this time. That's a segue.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, they
Are you
have...
going to drive it off a cliff?
No, not quite.
Alright.
But I am going to give you a bit of a sad.
Oh,
I'm
dear.
sorry about this. Fox has halted production on the Queen biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, I'm not sad about that. I'm worried. I've been worried about that film for years.
Yeah.
So it's fine. The longer the disappointment
Yeah.
draws out, the better.
The quote from the press release by 20th Century Fox, and I'm just going to read it here as a quote,
Uh-huh.
because apparently that's what you do if you're covering films, you just quote press releases.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah, okay. So, 20th Century Fox Film has temporarily halted production on Bohemian Rhapsody due to the unexpected availability of Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer is attached to direct, and reading a bit further,
Wait, what? Unexpected availability.
unavailability.
Oh, yeah. You said I think you
Unexpected
said-
availability.
Yeah, and I thought like, why is the
Like
sudden
they had
availability?
they had another director on there, and suddenly
Brian Singer was available, and they're like, oh, we're gonna shoehorn him in here.
Well, I mean, he is Fox's golden child.
Yeah, no, I got worried from him. I'm like, oh shit, Bryan Singer's gonna replace whoever's directing, and then I remembered Bryan Singer is directing,
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons I'm worried.
He's
Yeah.
multiple man.
Oh no!
But, yeah, there was, according to sources, it's regarding a personal health matter with Brian and his family. Mm-hmm. Don't know what that means. News will come out if and when it's available. But another thing that came out is that it looks like Fox may be replacing Singer on this film.
I'd be happy, but if they get obviously like
Like a good journeyman,
good
biopic journeyman director. I mean, who...
yeah, I don't know. I've been really worried about this film. Like Brian May and Roger Taylor have been too close to it. I mean, I'm like the biggest fan in the world, but like they should not be involved.
Yeah.
And they've had a very heavy hand in the production.
That's not going to color it at all.
No, not at all. And obviously, I was pretty excited when Sacha Baron Cohen was originally attached.
Yes, so was I, because I was like...
And Sacha Baron Cohen was super passionate about the project. He's been talking about it for years and years and years. And May and Taylor are the ones who stepped in and they said, no, he's too recognizable. It's going to be too much about him and not about who he's playing, which I suppose is fair.
It
So
would have
they've
been- it
now
would have-
recast him with the lead actor from one of the more popular series at the moment.
Mr. Robot.
Is
but
it? Well, the thing like
Rami Malek.
I think more people know Sacha Baron Cohen, and
Well,
I think
you
they
will,
would
you
probably
will immediately
they
recognize
as-
the guy from Until Dawn.
Yeah, but they as gentlemen in their late 60s and early, basically 70-year-olds, Sacha Baron Cohen, I think maybe just the stigma around him.
I think it's that because, quite frankly, he's a character actor first and foremost. He does disappear into his roles. You don't remember Sacha Baron Cohen in Bruno. You remember Bruno.
Yeah.
You remember Ali G. You remember his characters, not the actor.
And I think it's because they've mostly been sort of outrageous comedic characters that they were worried. But I honestly think he would have been.
He would have nailed it.
Absolutely fantastic. I think they've gone with like a fairly safe choice now, which I don't know.
Remember when they cast him, like Mr. Robot hadn't really hit its stride yet.
Remember this guy was cast like attached to the project I think like 2 years ago or something. It's been in development hell for like ages.
Yeah, like nearly a decade almost.
Yeah. I would have loved to see Baron Cohen. And also Cohen wanted to highlight sort of the more outrageous aspects of Mercury's life and, like
which
the
would have
excesses.
Been great.
But I mean, Mercury's
so basically what would have made for a more interesting movie.
His final instructions to sort of the people in charge of his estate is like, I don't care what you do with me, just don't make me boring.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think
that's such a Freddie Mercury thing to say.
Yeah, and I mean,
Don't make me boring,
those
darling.
were his actual instructions to the executors of his will and the people that were in charge of his estate and his musical legacy. So be outrageous. Who of these two people do you think Mercury would have preferred? Like the sort of outrageous, passionate character actor, or the sort of safer, slightly more mainstream choice?
Oh, the character actor.
I know this one. Don't tell me. The safer one?
Oh, Jason, no!
Oh, damn it!
Well,
if there's one thing
choice.
you need to remember about Mercury, he never played it safe.
Nope.
Not in life and not in love.
All too true. Continue.
All right, so that's enough about Fox. I think it's time for our weekly "What the fuck is going on at WB" segment.
Can I just say, I've been thinking about Warner Brothers a lot, and I've come to the conclusion that they can eat a bag of dicks.
Oh!
Crowd goes wild.
Bait and switch.
All right,
I was like, what's he on? Oh god, do I have to kick him off the podcast?
So I'm just gonna kick off with this one. So you guys really, really, really liked Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, right? Rhetorical question. The answer is obviously yes.
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 Well, it's difficult to to have that many reallys just because of context, but I thought she was a very good Harley Quinn.
Yes.
I did not. She was a great modern Harley Quinn, but she wasn't like Harley Quinn.
Yeah, but I don't care. Like, I don't
But you
mind.
were being facetious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And you're being overly pedantic.
Because we are getting.
It's almost like we play kind of roles.
It's almost like that. But yeah, I thought she was cool, and yeah,
she was
like really good mod. If she just deserved a much better film to be Harley Quinn in.
Well,
Yes.
hopefully she's got a 1 in 4 shot of getting that movie.
As being cast as Harley Quinn, or of a Harley Quinn
As
movie?
being-
Or are there 4 directors in?
No, there are 4. Oh, the character of Harley Quinn is attached to 4 upcoming projects now. There is
That worries me.
Suicide Squad 2, which we already know is heading into production.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought that was like up in the air now since Justice League's financial woes.
As far as we know, it's still on track.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure.
Then, of course, the Joker and Harley Quinn movie that we discussed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
God, please kill that movie.
And Gotham City Sirens, of course, which is also a project. And
But surely Gotham City Sirens would come post Batgirl.
we don't know that. Well, we don't
we
know.
didn't know that.
Hey!
Ew.
And the last one is actually a solo Harley Quinn movie that is being developed
Is
by
that the
Robbie.
sequel to Solo that's coming out in May, or is it like a
Yes.
standalone? Is it its own like new franchise?
It's a crossover.
It's a crossover between Star Wars and DC.
I'm glad that WB and Disney could finally put their differences behind them.
Yeah. So that this solo Harley Quinn movie is actually being developed by Robbie herself.
Okay.
All right. I don't.
Like, she's a good actress.
Yeah.
No,
like, but
She's
and I
damn
mean,
good.
there's a lot of there's a lot of good
like,
actors
lots
and
of
actresses.
questions.
Yeah, who are potentially great sort of directors or developers of projects. But I mean, she's untested, so it's not like she's coming into a like a little cinematic universe that's already full of slam dunks.
Yeah.
You know, it's any piece of news that we get is always going to be met with a little bit of trepidation. So that's just extra variables thrown on top of,
especially when the most like commonly seen same person as director, producer, and actor is B movies.
Yes.
Like it doesn't inspire confidence.
Except in the case of Ben Affleck.
and
That is true. He does his
Taika
best work
Waititi?
like that.
What?
Damn it.
fucking got you there.
Damn it.
So yeah, that's the thing that's happening in WB. They are trying to make or get 4 Harley Quinn movies made.
Yeah, I don't know about that, hey. I have my reservation. The thing is, she's really cool, and I think if the next film she's in is like much better, it's like a Wonder Woman quality sort of slam dunk thing, that would be great, because then I'll be excited, because like every time I hear like, oh, Gal Gadot is going to be Wonder Woman in this and probably in this and probably in that, I'm like, yes, awesome, cool, exciting.
Give me more Gal Gadot, because she now actually has, with Patty Jenkins behind her, she's got the power to say, no, fuck you, we're doing it this way.
Pretty much. She seems very much like a team player, though. I mean, she's the one that when people were outraged on her behalf over her salary, that she's getting paid $300,000 per film, and she's like, no, she just thinks it's an honor to make them, and she's just so happy to be here, and she just wants to make the best movie she can. It's just like, you're too nice.
You're too nice, but
put your foot down.
But then again, $300,000 isn't an insignificant amount of money.
It is for films that are making upwards of $700-800 million.
Look, when she's in a massive tentpole film like this, and she's getting 300,000, and people on series are getting over $1 million an episode, it's pretty low.
Okay, fine.
It's pretty ridiculous. Well, she just needs better agents. I'm sure they'll renegotiate.
Well, yeah, the thing is, this was done before.
Yeah, they'll renegotiate, but so I don't know. Like, I don't have enough information to be excited. Like, when they say she's developing it, like, does that mean she's bringing writers and people on board? Does that mean she's sitting down with her laptop at Starbucks, with her headphones on, and she's like, I'm gonna write my screenplay now. We don't know. We don't really know what this entails. So, for now, I'll be cautiously optimistic. If you told me like Jared Leto was developing a Joker film, I'd be a lot more worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, that boy needs oversight.
Yeah,
that boy needs oversight.
They just need to get Villeneuve.
He can be very, very good.
Yeah, they just need to get like Villeneuve like on set. They just need to pay him as a Leto handler.
Yeah, because he actually handled it. And just a quick segue, Villeneuve said in an interview this past week that he would be interested in making a standalone Star Wars film. He doesn't want to go anywhere
baby. Jesus.
near Skywalker.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, the Skywalker saga is ending in 2 years anyway.
Yeah, he's like, listen, I would do something that's like, just give me a spot in the universe and I'll make a fucking movie.
Yeah. Like,
please
do that.
Please do that.
Disney.
just do that.
Yeah, just
do that.
Just do that. Just let him do that.
Oh my god.
But I would be, well, we know we're going to get Star Wars movies into the foreseeable future.
Yeah, at least for another year or two.
Yeah, at least.
That's what Disney does. Just does things for a year or two and then lets them go.
It's not like they have Marvel who've planned 20 movies post Avengers 4 already.
No, absolutely not.
That's not their MO. But I believe I think it would be a safe bet for Disney to give Villeneuve a Star Wars project after his Dune project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then if his Dune project does really well, which I hope it will, and I know it would be critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
Don't know about commercially. God damn you people! Why don't you go watch Blade Runner?
Center yourself.
I'm centering myself. Like like Dune is nothing if not a space opera.
The only thing that would worry me about that is I hope that once Disney feels like cool, they've got their universe on track, and the Skywalker saga's wrapped up. They'll be a little more hands off with the standalone films. I'm not criticizing the fact that they've been hands on if there were issues that needed addressing, but I hope that if they get someone like Villeneuve on, that they can be hands off, because my initial worry is just his films. I mean, if you look at Blade Runner now, and then you look at Dune, like if both of those end up being like underwhelming commercially, you know, there might be that sort of. Cause, I mean, they're very much about making great films, but they're also very much about the bottom line.
Oh no, though, yeah, especially when you're dealing with such.
But I think if you give Villeneuve something that's like a hot property that's already got like a guaranteed 500 million, like you could put a shopping list up on screen for 2 hours, and you'd break 500. Then I think you know, that would be fantastic. But I just hope that it doesn't get to Villeneuve gets hired on as a director for Disney to part ways with 6 months down the line due to creative differences.
Yeah. Look, I think as long as 2049 makes some sort of impact in award season,
I am fairly sure that it's going to walk away with the bulk of the technical awards.
We'll see.
I would hope so. I'm just trying to think.
I would hope so.
What else has come out in this award season?
I mean, if he's pitched for Best Director, this for Blade Runner 2049, just considering the films we've gotten this year, it's a tough race.
Honestly, I don't think it's been announced yet.
I don't think it would be. It might be like voted as a contender, but I don't think it has a chance for best film. I mean, I honestly, if I was giving the awards, yes, obviously.
Oh no, we should actually do our own CineBeards awards.
We absolutely should. Just far more prestigious than the Academy Awards as well. Because I mean, those guys are all just a bunch of sex offenders.
Like, we haven't been bought out, not because we can't be bought out, but because they didn't bother to try.
Yeah.
Our morals are flexible. Send us money.
So the best movie of the year was a Warner Brothers movie named Geostorm.
Nah, it's okay. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
I don't think awards even necessarily play that big a role. It's just like look at Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers were very hands off with Nolan with his Batman trilogy.
And they gave him time to make it.
Yeah, time to make it. They gave him freedom. You know, Nolan gets what Nolan wants. And I just hope that Lucasfilm can be the same with Villeneuve and just say...
WB was the same with Villeneuve for Blade Runner.
Yes.
Yeah. And why am I the one... Or why am I using them as an example of like a studio making good, mature decisions?
Because
they have made good, mature decisions.
Yes, like the one I'm going to discuss now.
Yeah.
Which is bloody brilliant. So, Warner Brothers made a great adult decision and did not delay the release of Justice League, which, let's be fair, even though I know both of you enjoyed it, I haven't seen it yet. Probably could have used a bit more time in post.
It could have used a long... The thing is,
bit more time.
The thing with Justice League is it's just, you can see the reshoots because those are the 99% of the time, those are the good scenes. Like, you can just see them. Like, if they could have had another 3 months of that...
Yeah.
And just done everything from scratch, I think I would have been pretty happy.
I'm just going to read this so that you guys can... so I can get your reactions. Clear his throat. According to a report in The Wrap, Warner Brothers president Toby Emmerich and CEO Kevin Tsujihara were motivated to, quote, preserve their bonuses that were to be paid out prior to Time Warner's impending merger with AT&T. If Justice League was delayed, those bonuses would be pushed back to 2018 and, quote, they might not still be at the studio.
Yeah. I read that as well.
Yeah. So
and that, I mean, that does make sense.
It makes business sense, but I don't think...
No. It makes personal sense.
Yeah.
It makes because when we're talking a bonus, we're talking about what most people earn in a decade.
Yes. Multiple millions.
Yeah, those are some fat bonuses. Yeah, it's terrible because to realize that these films, which are made by hundreds and thousands of people,
enormous crews,
watched
many
by
countries,
watched by millions and millions, or in the case of Justice League, watched by thousands and thousands of people. The big decisions often come down to just a handful of guys, and very often their decisions are motivated by like a spreadsheet, or in this case, their own personal budget. It's just a project at their studio.
Yeah.
And they're saying like, oh, that Justice League film. Wait. If we push on that, no, don't push on the release date. Like, we're just going to give Joss Whedon 2 or 3 times the money we'd normally give for reshoots. Just get it done. Just get it done in that time. Dig their heels in. It's not like they're sitting there watching the dailies and going, artistically, I feel like we could do with another month or 2.
But now I'm going to burst your bubble. From a WB insider that spoke to the Wrap, bonuses are awarded for, quote, making good decisions. So if rescheduling Justice League proved to be beneficial, they would have kept their bonuses.
But that's hindsight. At the time, remember what they also say in that article is that Warner Brothers,
didn't know if they would still be there.
Yeah, Warner Brothers, that they wouldn't necessarily be at the studio, so they wouldn't receive that bonus. And secondly, Warner Brothers is a company that likes to project strength, is one of the takeaways that I had there, and that sort of decisive leadership is something that they value. And I think for them, they were looking at it and they were saying, well, Batman v Superman came out, still made a lot of money, made a ton of money, despite, its troubled development, despite not being that great. We're hearing that there's issues, but we got this Joss Whedon guy and he did the Avengers. Like, it's fine. It's going to make a ton of money. We might even get some of the Marvel fans in, because they're not. I don't think they're guys like that are necessarily too involved in the day-to-day, like the artistic side. So it makes sense. But it's weird that you've got these massive things and these historical artifacts that films are, and very often these major decisions are just down to a guy's bonus.
Yeah, it's like I want to go to Honduras this Christmas. Give me my bonus.
Yeah. I want to buy Honduras.
I want to buy a Hawaii.
Yeah, I want to buy an island. So I would like my bonus. So just get that movie, the one, the League one, that one, just get it out on time.
The one we forced Ben Affleck into.
Yeah, that Freedom Friends movie.
Yeah.
Oh, and remember to feed Ben Affleck's children in the dungeon.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting, and it really speaks to the fact that this is still, well, it's a studio. They're there to make money.
Yeah.
It's still under the control of people who don't give a shit about it artistically.
Yeah, and I think on the one hand, I'm sad that Justice League is doing so poorly financially, relatively speaking. Because
we're still speaking. It's still. I think it has broken $500 million.
Yeah, but it needs to make a
whole
bunch more.
It was 491 when last I checked.
So it's not doing great financially. But it's a film where you could see they'd realized shit, this is what our films actually need, and they started the process, and now they're almost being punished for that. Not being punished for that, but there could be a feeling of we tried to lighten up our film. We tried to add in these sort of character elements and this feeling of hope and unity. Oh well, our film bombed.
Yeah, but here's the weird thing to me. As well with this whole Justice League thing, they actively try to lighten it up. You guys were both convinced that it's a step in the right direction. And
some of it is a step in the right direction. Other bits they shouldn't have lightened up that they did.
okay.
Yeah, or just not as much as ham-fistedly. I think.
Yeah.
Is what you said.
Yeah, ham-fistedly, and they lightened up every aspect of it, whereas they should have lightened it up where it was appropriate for it to.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, it shouldn't just be a case of lightening it up. It should just be a case of like making superheroes, and not just making superheroes glum, fucking desaturated, miserable
Because
people.
what I've been reading recently is lots of people, and it's been going back and forth. People apparently now demand
Snyder's version,
a Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
I've been seeing that, and yes, I actually agree with that. Give us the Zack Snyder version.
Snack cider, yeah.
The Snack Cider.
Is that just a fat version of him?
I'm Snack Cider.
Give us the Snack
I ate
Cider
all the
version.
color from your
I am colorist, devourer of worlds.
But yeah, give it to us and show us how shit it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and
Yes.
here's the thing: it's like weird people are coming out and saying like the last one I read today was Rob Liefeld is like, no, I want to see Zack Snyder's Justice League. Who the fuck cares, Rob Liefeld?
Two things. Firstly, Snyder himself has come out and said, and other people at the studio that, that Whedon was sticking to his playbook.
Yes.
That these decisions weren't just like Whedon coming in like, cool, I'm gonna make this the Avengers. He was specifically brought in because that's what the whole team felt the project needed.
Yeah.
Snyder included, because he was still
they needed.
creative.
He was calling the shots. Remember,
Yeah.
Whedon did his additional writing while Snyder was still on the project.
Yes.
And then, basically, when Snyder stepped away, he just got Whedon to direct the scenes that he'd written.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And I mean,
So it's not like
let's be
it's
fair,
not like
like-
Snyder was like so close to finishing off his definitive Justice League, pure like with no Whedon input, and then stepped away and Whedon snuck in. He's like,
snuck in and like hit and like increased the contrast and the saturation in the editing room. But yeah, there's also been conflicting reports about that. I've seen like, no, there's no way we can release a Snyder cut, and then later, oh no, it might exist in a viable form.
yeah.
And then
I think it's so much of the effects work would be incomplete because the film is like 90% CG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would basically be like there would be a ton of just green screen footage.
Yeah,
I
because
mean-
there's no way they would pay the money for the post-production necessary.
Oh
on it.
no,
They already lost
And,
some.
and the thing is, like, our favorite part of the movie, Superman being Superman,
yes.
that was all reshoots.
Yeah.
From what I've read, from what was in the original Snyder version, was a much darker Superman.
Yeah. No,
And
it was
quite
like it was
honestly,
effectively evil Superman.
Fuck that.
Because I mean, Superman was fucking dark. Yeah, I hate it
Oh,
when it
I
gets
read-
oversimplified to
I
like
read
a
about-
dark or light.
Yeah,
But
I read about that back when it was going to be Justice League Part 1 and Part 2. That was apparently a big part of the arc of the two films, where up until the end of the first Justice League, Superman would be, black suit evil Superman, and then in the second film,
completely misses the point.
yeah, because it has to
know.
contrast.
yeah, it
But
would,
when he comes back in the comics as black suit Superman, he is still the same Superman. He just wears the black suit so he can absorb more sun on the way.
Aw.
Fuck them.
Like a Japanese car.
that's also why he has the mullet, because it's got more surface area so it can absorb more sunlight.
the thing is, like, the best thing about this film, the redeeming qualities are the fact that the team feels like a team, that characters are more humanized, and that we have real Superman back.
Yeah,
That's the-
it's almost as if the characters were written by somebody who didn't hate them.
Yeah. So, sure, there's still issues. I mean, there's big issues with Flash, but we knew that from trailer 1. Like, we saw that's like from the
big
ground up
issues
problems.
is an understatement.
Yeah. There's still issues with Batfleck, but I think with the right script and maybe him being a little more enthusiastic, that's fine. Like, I still think he could be a really fantastic Batman. Cyborg's great, as long as they just drop the whole CG thing. Wonder Woman's fantastic. It just, they felt like a team, and real Superman is great. And these are all things, like the more human aspects of the film, the more hopeful aspects, that were done in the reshoots.
Yeah.
So that is the right direction.
almost like the guy that did the reshoots, instead of the original director, has a better eye for human interaction.
Yeah, just seems
Just
like
even though Zack Snyder and they wrote them, just the way I assume Joss Whedon would have shot it to make everything seem more human, just in his style.
yeah,
Yeah, it's still not exactly 100% the way that a human would speak, but it's closer.
it's a hell of a lot closer. And that scene between Lois Lane and Martha Kent, you know, where they're talking, and it's like, oh wait, suddenly these characters are human beings, you know, emoting, feeling things.
To be fair, though, there is a scene in Batman v Superman, also with Lois Lane, that is very human. And that's when Clark comes home and she's there in the bath and stuff
No,
like
but that's
that.
a shit scene.
That's a shit scene.
That's a
but
scene where she's like, hey, I'm raising some actual human issues, and he's like, lol, I'm gonna get into the bath with you. And she's like,
And then product placement.
all my problems are forgotten because you're so spontaneous and fun.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is she always had the potential there.
No, I never said she didn't. It's just that she was being utilized poorly, and now she was actually being utilized well, and not just a prop. Because that scene infuriates me because it starts off as like, hey, we're in this actual human type relationship, and then it's just like Zack Snyder's like, I don't really understand what's happening here. He gets into the bath. It's hilarious. Take that, Marvel. I can be funny too.
That is an incredible Zack Snyder impersonation.
That's exactly what he sounds like. Actually, those were just like archive clips that I spliced together.
Oh my god, we should get a Zack Snyder soundboard for the podcast.
Okay, I'm going through all the Comic-Con footage. Fucking making that little Zack Snyder sample. I'll link up to the keyboard.
Can you make him say eat a bag of dicks?
I can try. We have the technology.
We have the technology.
No, but this was like a well-rounded scene, like where you understand the two characters and they're actually being used well. And I think the whole aspect of like Lois, you know, being the one to sort of, because you could see that scene where
But it had to make up so much stuff. Like, it had to create a whole relationship that wasn't there in BVS.
But I'd rather they do that
yeah.
than just go, oh, well, we fucked up. Let's keep it shit forever.
Look, the more they ignore BVS, the better, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I just assume that Lois and Clark's relationship just happened off screen, like the whole time.
Yeah.
It was there, and now we get to see a bit of it.
Yeah, and I think the Superman we were seeing in that scene after they resurrect him, like where he sort of goes a little bit crazy and everything.
Spoilers.
I honestly, nobody saw that coming. I honestly think that's probably like the way he is there is probably the way he was envisioned to be in the film as a whole.
Yeah, like he was gonna bat them off and then fly away.
Yeah,
and
and
then
then
it
he
would
was gonna
a
be
whole,
like,
oh god, we gotta get this guy back again.
Yeah.
Hilarity ensues. Even a hijink.
It's a good thing we've got our klutzy Jewish sidekick with us.
That old cliche.
Speaking of sidekicks, this is a terrible segue. Avatar 4 and 5. As we know, James Cameron is working on 2 and 3, and then he's taking, and then after those are released, he's going back to do 4 and 5.
I thought they were shooting all four back to back.
No, that was
Are
the original
Are they
plan.
staggering them now?
They are staggering them now, and
James Franco, yeah.
James Franco, long lost brother to James Cameron.
Yeah, definitely.
Same first name.
Yeah, same first name. They're totally related. Basically, Avatar 4 and 5 are dependent on the success of 2 and 3.
That's always been the interesting thing for me is that he can that far ahead plan to do 4. And my feeling was always like, I know Avatar made more money than God.
Like, quite literally.
Yeah.
2.5 billion box
I don't
office?
know. Have you seen the Vatican? God makes a shit ton of money.
The thing is, like, that's $2.5 billion at
In
the
2009
cinema.
money.
Yeah, at the cinema in 2009 money. That's not including, like, home video release.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many 3D TVs were sold because of Avatar? Doing that. Remember that?
At least 5.
That's the thing that happened. So yeah, that film just made incredible money, but still, you wait this long for a sequel, number 2 may come out, and
Nobody cares.
yeah, it may just totally bomb.
Yeah.
So I was always wondering about that, and I think that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
To plan for 2, and then see how it goes.
I think it's recent enough in memory, and it was popular enough when it came out that it won't be a financial bomb. Like unless they're spending $1 billion on it, hoping it's going to make $2 billion. Again.
No. I totally agree. I'm not saying it's going to. I sincerely doubt it will. But there's always a chance that it just doesn't resonate the same way.
Yeah.
And that you've got diminishing returns, and you see, okay, cool.
Because,
the second one makes $1 billion. The third one makes 750.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh shit,
I guess
we've got 2 more of these things.
I guess the big question then is, how is Avatar 2 pushing things technologically?
Yeah, that is the big question, because
that's its big selling point.
Even like we discussed a couple of weeks ago, IMAX is cutting back on 3D releases themselves. I mean, IMAX 3D is the good 3D.
His plan of doing glasses free 3D, like pushing for that for Avatar, I think he said 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Like his plan is by then to do that. If he can do that, then absolutely.
If he can do it for 3, yeah, I don't think he'll do it in time to get 2.
I always wondered about it, because doing 4 films back to back makes sense, and obviously for the most successful film of all time, like it financially it makes sense, like, because you can spend $800 million doing it, and it's sort of like a once-off contain. I mean, that's their DVD money.
Yes.
From the first Avatar that they'd be spending, and then they'd just be making all that back. But it is a huge investment and undertaking. And if Against the Odds number 2 came out and it bombed, and you've got those other 3 that are being... What is that recent series? The young adult fiction one.
Divergent and...
That, yeah. Where the last one, I think, was...
The last 2 were relegated to TV movies.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not saying that's going to happen for Avatar, but that's always the risk you run.
Yeah.
If you commit, like, we're doing 4 and we're shooting them back to back, I mean, that's dangerous.
I mean, even that other one, Maze Runner, I mean, they've been slashing the budget on those things. I mean, the last one is shooting here, and shooting here is dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Hasn't it finished shooting here?
I think I can't remember. I don't follow.
Because even if you look at... because they were all these things were greenlit when Hunger Games came out.
Yes.
And they were like, yes, this is hot, and you just don't know what
this is hot, and it's going to last forever.
Yeah, and you don't know what the landscape looks like 5 years down the line.
Yeah.
You just don't. So, like, making that kind of long-term commitment is really, really dangerous.
So,
even for Avatar.
I'm just going to read James Cameron's quote here, because it's actually just very James Cameron to say.
So, is he going to tell us how objectified Wonder Woman is?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to tell us the only strong woman is a woman that is essentially just a man with boobs.
Yeah. Like, she has to be wearing jeans and be battered and full of grease.
Yeah, I'm going to channel James Cameron.
All right, do it.
Going down to the deep blue sea, James Cameron. Okay, got it.
Pretend you're in the Mariana Trench and go.
Let's face it. If Avatar 2 and 3 don't make enough money, there's not going to be a 4 and 5. They're fully encapsulated stories in and of themselves. It builds across the 5 films to a greater kind of meta-narrative, but they're fully formed films in their own right. Unlike, say, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, where you really just had to sort of go, oh, shit, alright, well, I guess I better come back next year, even though that all worked and everybody did.
The thing is, okay, no. I know exactly what he's saying, but that's a very bad idea.
Yeah.
Just using that as no. It makes perfect sense, because obviously you've got like the Lord of the Rings. Like I think Fellowship was fairly not self-contained, but like it's a satisfying thing.
Fellowship
but,
was,
but it's very much like watching a TV series. It's like it's a 3-episode TV series where it's like, okay, everything's been set up now. I need to know where this goes. I think what he's saying is that each of the films is standalone.
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying.
There's no like cliffhangers or...
Yeah, you can effectively, what he's trying to say is, if you've not seen Avatar 1...
You can watch Avatar 3 as its own thing, it'll be satisfying.
Yeah, that's why he's getting all the same actors back.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean,
Like it can be
I-
episodic,
I-
like a TV series kind of thing, where it's got the same cast and it's a different self-contained
no,
story. But like,
yeah, but no. Like, I think it's the exact opposite of what a TV series would do. I think he's making it'll have the same characters, but it's not. None of it depends on your knowledge of the previous films, I think is what he's saying. Where Lord of the Rings, it's like you start off and you're like, okay, this is the overall thing. Like, this ring has to get to Mount Doom.
yeah, but the thing is,
You have to go back and watch the next one.
if it's the same characters across all the movies, you gotta have some kind of reward there for the people coming back and watching
And
it.
I'm sure that will be there. He's what I think what Cameron is saying is like the way he's speaking about an overarching meta narrative. Think of it. I think what he means is think of it more in terms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where effectively each franchise is its own story that can be watched on its own, but there's a whole overarching narrative.
I think
I think that's what he's going for,
I think the Lord of the Rings comparison makes sense because I think what he's trying to reassure people is that, oh shit, if it's suddenly announced that they're not making Avatar 4, what happened? Like, it's not like if after the Two Towers
It's not like
they
when
said,
Firefly
we're not
ended.
making Return of the King, because
Yeah.
everyone's going to be like, oh shit, we don't see how this plays out.
Yeah.
I think
We have
I
to
think
go
what
read
he's
the
saying,
book?
I think what he's saying is that like there's a book. They made a book of it.
Of
Great.
Lord of- yeah, they made a novelization of
Oh,
the movie.
gotta check that out.
Yeah.
And then they made an animation of that novelization.
I think all he's saying, but he's phrasing it poorly, is that if Avatar 4 doesn't happen, you're not missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also sounds a little like a strange thing to say.
Yeah.
Rather
worry
be
about
like
it.
rather be
Yeah,
like
rather
Marvel.
overhype it.
Yeah, rather
Yeah.
be like Marvel and be like, you absolutely have to watch all the films. We promise. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you won't. Like,
We promise. Like, you will be so lost if you don't watch those 30 seconds in a movie that links it to everything else. God, that marketing
yeah.
machine.
I understand what he's
that
saying,
Marvel's
but Cameron really just he just puts his foot in it every
Every
time. He's just
time.
putting his foot in his mouth. It's like, just shut up and make your movies.
got.
Yeah.
Just go make your Avatar movies and make them good. That's all we expect of
Don't
you.
ever-
Cameron.
don't
Your best
ever-
talking ain't done with your mouth.
Don't ever like, even though I think what he's saying is completely fair and is totally benign, and he's just saying like it's not like part 1, part 2, part 3, part
Yeah.
4, like it's the sequence that's actually just one long movie.
Yeah.
Each one stand alone. But don't go saying like, oh, it's not like Lord of the Rings where you feel like like that tone. Don't say that.
Just stop.
Don't do it. James Cameron, don't do it.
Yeah. And I think shall we move on to some Marvel news? There's some Marvel news.
Marvel news.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
the
What is
comic
a
book
Marvel?
guys, right? No, it's the comic book guys.
It's the comic book guys, yeah.
Okay.
I think they're
So-
I think they're like DC's like a subsidiary or something.
Yeah, it's like an alternate
Is it
alternate
that Shazam
imprint.
thing, that Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's the one.
speaking of Captain Marvel, thanks for that segue. We've got 2 castings that have come through in the past 2
Ooh,
weeks.
yes, I saw these.
So, first one that came out was Jude Law is playing Mar-Vell, aka
Are they-
the original Kree Captain Marvel,
Nice.
which
nice.
is where Carol Danvers gets her powers. I'm not gonna tell you how because that might spoil the movie.
They kiss each other, and then it's
And
a
then he
sexually
pulls off his
transmitted
mask and
superhero
reveals
power.
that he's actually Dumbledore.
And then he pulls off that mask, and it's Johnny
Depp.
Depp.
No!
With the terrible little
I hate
pedo,
you.
a little white pedo stash,
Oh,
and a head full of peroxided
the
hair.
worst.
Oh, there's a lot of people saying like, dude, just for the love of God, recast him.
The director was defending,
Standing by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other big
That's
casting.
sorry.
The-
on
the-
that
the
casting, that's
Yeah.
cool casting. That's fine.
Yeah.
The guy's
I mean,
cool.
Jude Law is good.
Yeah, no,
he's just
yeah,
good.
I've got no problems.
Yeah, I'm cool. with
I'm
Jude Law.
fine with him being painted blue. It's
Yeah,
good. It's fine.
like
In fact, he might almost be better blue.
Yeah. I mean, they already made another British man blue, and that pretty much worked. In Guardians of the Galaxy.
oh, I thought you meant Mystique. Mr. J Law.
Yondu's not British.
No, I'm talking about Ronan the Accuser.
Oh, what a shit character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well. That's not a good
Really?
selling point.
Like,
Shut up, James Cameron. Pulling off
really,
another
James
mask.
Cameron that one up.
The other casting news that came out is our good friend and favorite villain from Star Wars Rogue One, Ben Mendelsohn, is playing the villain in Captain Marvel.
Ooh.
He's
Yeah.
being in interviews, he's been very cagey about who he's playing and what type of villain he is, which is great. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I
wanna
just
go
know
in.
he plays a good villain. I want him to be a villain for all time. Thank you, please.
I'm
goodbye.
down with that.
Yeah.
He's also a really good composer, Mendelssohn.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He must be old.
Yeah, like at least a century. At least.
It's pretty aged well.
Yeah.
Lizard people.
They
Those
rule the
lizard
world.
people.
Damn lizard folk.
The lizard folk. Other news, I'm actually just stretching this out because I know we're gonna just go off the rails when we get there.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are you
So-
gonna get us there, Marcus?
I'm gonna get you there. I'm gonna get you there. I'm even gonna take you over the finish line.
Get out of my home.
Ease off a little bit there, Graham.
So, Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Yeah.
which is coming, courtesy of
So
director
excited.
Peyton Reed.
Finally saw the Wasp properly in that Vanity Fair.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Shoot, yeah.
Oh, that shoot it was pretty great.
Fucking epic.
Seeing everyone just
Yeah.
there. It's going to be a comic book romantic comedy between the two of them.
Nice. I'm down for that.
I'm down for that. With Peyton Reed at the helm, I mean, he made The Breakup and a bunch of others.
Look, if you're gonna make a romantic comedy,
And you've
there's
got
no one
Paul
better
Rudd.
than Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
You've got Paul Rudd being directed by Peyton Reed. Why didn't they just make it? Like, I can't wait for the rom-com style trailer for this. It's like, he was just an Ant-Man, and she
and you know
was a
you
wasp.
know they're gonna fucking do that. You know they're absolutely gonna go there.
Oh,
that would be
how
great.
great was that little video that Paul Rudd did for the charity thing where he was
Yes.
answering the kids' questions?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, okay. I don't want to spoil it. I'll show it to you afterwards.
No, but I'm
But,
I'm totally down. Like they can do the rom-com thing. They've nailed everything else.
Yeah,
I don't care. Just give it
I
to
mean,
me.
I'm pretty sure at this point at Marvel, like, Kevin Feige's just got a dartboard with, like, subgenres there. And he's like, okay, he has two darts. One for the movie, and then one for the genre they're going for. So he's like, okay,
Infinity
and
War heist film.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what the research said. Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Oh, a rom-com.
Rom-com.
Thank God we've already got Peyton Reed on that.
What a lucky break. It's all coming up, Feige.
Ragnarok.
Office comedy.
Ooh, wait, we don't have a director. Get me the man that made the vampire one. The funny one.
It's like you threw at the dartboard and it's like Thor Ragnarok, genre, Jeff Goldblum. That's my favorite genre.
Yeah.
I give that genre 10 out of 10 with Jeff Goldblum.
But yeah, so I'm actually really happy that the Marvel machine is doing that.
And it honestly, it's gonna sound like such a cliche, but if it brings in new audiences because it's marketed a little differently, or it's it's structured a little differently, it's got a different tone, fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
If it brings in people who otherwise might not have been drawn to superhero films, but they're like, you got someone in a relationship and they really like their rom-coms, they don't want all the superhero stuff, and then there's one that they can sort of get into and they're like, I actually quite like this, and Evangeline Lilly is funny, and Paul Rudd's funny, and
Everybody loves
Paul Rudd is just charming.
and it's just like this is really
So
great.
lovable.
And then the next movie comes around, and it's like, oh, are they in this other one as well? Well, I'll go watch it.
Yeah.
For those characters.
Yeah, and then they get sort of pulled into the bigger thing. That's fantastic. Just bring the more the merrier.
Google, gobble,
Yeah.
Google.
No, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to love it.
Yeah. Because they deserve to be loved by everyone.
Yeah.
They are entertaining films, if nothing more. And they
Hey,
are
that
more.
was very dismissive tone you had
Ooh.
there.
I
Super
I
dismissive.
think Marcus just wants to stop sounding like Disney is giving him money.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I'm trying to hide the fact that they sponsor my channels.
Yeah, I noticed.
They pay both us and Rotten Tomatoes.
They spent so much money. No one's ever
So-
caught them. Warner Brothers are like,
How do they keep doing this? Paying us money?
Warner
It's
Brothers is
almost
just
like,
like
they've got an infinite budget.
Warner Brothers is just going to like these private eyes. They're just like, we don't know how it's happening, but we know it's happening. And the private eyes are just like bungling the investigation the whole time. Oh, damn.
So, that's pretty much it for the news.